All right, get ready to dive in because this one's juicy. We're talking first-time experiences, specifically yours, in Hawaii. And let's just say, it's not about surfing.
Yeah, this deep dive gets interesting fast. Our listener takes us from a birthday trip to exploring a whole new side of relationships.
So 32 and treating yourself to a Hawaiian vacation, love it. But you chose to stay in a hostel.
Interesting choice, right? Hostels aren't just for the younger crowd. Sounds like you were craving that social vibe, that openness to meeting new people.
And you definitely found it. You met a couple from Belgium.
Yeah.
And, well, you were immediately drawn to their openness, particularly about their relationship.
That's key here. That initial comfort, that openness, it sets the stage for everything that follows. What was it about their vibe that made it so easy to talk about, non-monogamy and such?
Right, like it wasn't taboo or anything. Okay, so birthday night. Drinks are flowing, everyone's feeling good, and you're feeling bold. You actually straight up propositioned them.
Talk about seizing the moment. And while one half of the couple wasn't quite ready to jump in, probably the birthday cocktails, it's like you planted a seed for what was to come.
And it sounds like that seed bloomed the next day on a rooftop, drinks still in hand, but this time delving deeper into the dynamics of their relationship. What were some of those things you talked about? What stood out to you about how they made it work?
It's amazing what happens when you can openly discuss these things. No judgment. They weren't trying to paint a perfect picture either, just being real about their experiences. That honesty is so refreshing.
Totally. Okay. But then things took an interesting turn in a club bathroom. A kiss with the woman.
And not just any kiss, a secret one. That changes things. It's like this unspoken acknowledgement, a spark. What was it about that moment, that secrecy, that made it so charged?
And it speaks to the trust they had, right? Like, she was totally cool with it. Did that add to the whole vibe for you?
Definitely adds a layer of complexity, doesn't it? Knowing they had this understanding between them.
Okay, so the club scene, it wasn't really doing it for you. You suggested bailing, and they were into it. What made you go for it, like actually take that next step?
Sometimes it's all about reading the room, right? Or in this case, maybe the lack of a room, being out in the open. You described that three-way kiss as hot, beautiful, sensual. Was it the spontaneity, the connection? What made it feel so different?
It sounds like you were really in the moment. And from that street corner, things progressed kind of naturally back to their place.
And that's what's fascinating, how organically it all unfolded. You talked about it being instinctual, no awkwardness, like everyone was on the same page. What was that like for you, especially being your first experience with a couple?
It sounds like there was a real sense of mutual comfort and respect.
Absolutely. And that's so crucial in these types of encounters, wouldn't you say? It's not just about the physicality. It's about creating a space where everyone feels safe and respected.
You mentioned something that really stuck with you, though. The woman, she actually took a break, left you and the guy alone.
Yep.
And you saw that as a sign of trust, right?
Such a powerful moment. It challenges those traditional ideas of jealousy, doesn't it? Like, she was secure enough in her relationship to create space for you two. What was it about that moment that resonated so deeply?
Yeah, it really speaks volumes about the kind of relationship they had built.
Yeah.
So after you gave them their space, headed out, and ended up treating yourself to
Right.
that chicken nuggets.
Sometimes you just need that comfort food, right? Especially after an experience like that. But those nuggets, they weren't just about satisfying hunger, were they? It was a moment to process, decompress. What were some of the thoughts running through your mind?
Like trying to make sense of it all, I imagine. It's like it broke the mold of what we think these encounters have to be.
Totally. It really challenges that whole script of secrecy and drama.
And here's the thing. It wasn't just a fling, right? It sparked something deeper in you.
It's like it opened a door, wouldn't you say?
You mentioned it made you really think about open relationships, designer relationships, all that.
It's one thing to think about it, but to actually experience it.
Right, like head versus heart, maybe.
Yeah. Exactly. And especially in such a positive way, it can really shift something.
So this wasn't just about a physical connection then, was it? It made you rethink the whole relationship rule book.
It makes you question, what is a relationship anyway? What are the possibilities?
You challenged your own assumptions about what you wanted, what felt good.
And that's huge because it means you're taking control, designing a relationship that works for you, not fitting into some pre-made box.
It makes you wonder how many other people have had these kinds of eye-opening experiences and never tell anyone.
Right. It's more common than we think, I bet.
What advice would you give to someone who hears this, intrigued, but scared maybe?
First, don't be afraid to challenge those old ideas you have.
Easier said than done sometimes.
True, but start with curiosity, Read up on it, talk to people who are open or non-monogamous, and most importantly, be honest with yourself about what you want.
No one else can tell you how to do relationships. Right. It's personal.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe your own Hawaiian adventure is just around the corner.
Or maybe not Hawaii. Maybe just, life. It's out there, folks. And that's a wrap on this deep dive. Keep those questions coming because we love to get into it. Until next time.